Hello and welcome to another Painter1 Live with me, that Kimberly, and Jean Harris. Wave. Jean Harris and I are going to pick up on some more conversation as it relates to hiring and firing. With his 20 plus years of experience in business and mine, I'll give myself 15, maybe 12, I don't know. But anywho, we are going to talk about hiring and firing employees. So, Jean, where do you want to start with this?
I think the best place to start is to go back to the early 90s and kind of how I got involved and kind of where I found my mojo.
Oh, yeah. Context. You got to give us context.
Right.
Okay.
Back when I was running Hollywood videos, everybody remembers Hollywood, Blockbuster video stores, and started off when I worked for them. They were at the time, they had 100 retail stores when I started in 95 and grew to be the second largest video chain in the country and one of the fastest growing retailers in the world. And in that business, we were opening on average a store a day. And so we got really good for a while there. Before I became a district manager, I was actually a training store manager, and I would literally, we would open a new store. We would put a 1-800 Go Hollywood sign outside, and everyone would call and leave messages that they wanted to work there. And I would collect all those phone numbers and all those people. And then in a couple of days, I'd call everybody back and I'd say, hey, I'm going to be at the store tomorrow, and show up. And literally would have a line of people all the way around the store, and it would be just me. And I'd hand out everybody an application. Everybody would fill out their application, and I would stand there and look at their application and pretty much had 30 seconds to interview them and make a decision based on that conversation and move on to the next person and interview, 40, 50, 60 people at a time, and literally staff the entire store from the assistant manager all the way down to, the shift leaders, to the CSRs, and potentially maybe even a store manager.
So was it just you that did all the interviewing, or they have to have a second interview with someone?
Just me.
Just you.
All by myself. Yeah. And you had to, I would hire, one store, probably 30 employees. And
wow.
Staff. And then the process would be, then the truck would show up. And then a truck, like a semi 18-wheeler full, the entire store would be in one box, basically. We would unload the whole truck. We would, all the people we just hired.
Everybody. What were the key top 3 things that you looked for to hire that employee when you went through this quick, if you will, a rapid fire of hiring?
Yes. The number one question would be, tell me something about yourself. That's my number one question for ever since then. That's pretty much been my interview technique, and just kind of go from there. We could dig into things, because the way I believe is, if you look at someone's resume or application, the fact that you call them, they're pretty much qualified. They've met some criteria at that point where they're qualified for the job. Maybe there's some places you need to dig in, tell me a little bit more. But really, at the end of the day, I'm hiring you. Do I like you? Are you likable? Are you a person who other people would like? Do you get along well with others? The tell me something about yourself was actually a trick question in a sense, because what's the one subject that you know the most about? More than anything else in the world, there's one
myself.
thing.
Myself.
Absolutely. And if you can't tell me about yourself, then how are you going to tell someone about this product we're trying to sell?
Yeah.
Confidently. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So I always
look for things. If they, let me just to clarify, you looked for if they had an answer to tell me about yourself, and if they could sell you. Were you looking for them to sell themselves to, like they're pitching themselves to you? Is that the way you were thinking about it?
Well, yeah, just how easy are they to talk to?
Okay.
If I said, tell me something about yourself, and they're like, well, and they're looking away over here, and they're like, I don't know, and they're shy, or they're just have a bad attitude, or
heaven forbid they have a bad attitude.
I don't really want to focus on the negative. I'm a kind of focus on the positive kind of guy, but that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for that. I'm like, and then some people, I get it, in an interview process, interviews, we were all taught, you got to show up, you got to sit up straight, and you got to lean forward, and you got to engage, and you got to dress just right. And so when people go to an interview, they're really nervous, right? A lot of times because they want to impress, and they, obviously they want to get the job. And so some of that too is to break down that barrier. Like I want to meet Kimberly. I want to meet the real person. I don't want to meet the fake Kimberly that's trying to win the job. I want to meet the real Kimberly. So some of that's to kind of, if I can get you talking about something. So a follow-up question that would be, what do you like to do when you're not working?
Yeah.
And that kind of, some people would kind of trick them a little bit. Like, what are you talking about? Like, tell me about a hobby you have. Tell me something you love to do. And the idea is I want to get them talking. I want to get them like really just go riffing just off the top of their head. I want to hear the grammar, how they're using language, et cetera.
What body language that they put out. If they can conversate, I feel like that's the same in sales. If you are able to build a rapport with someone in a short period of time, that is a true sales. That's true salesmanship, womanship, whatever. But I would agree on that. So I can understand the 30 seconds.
It's something I didn't know. Again, it was one of those things. I really feel like I was, some people are born to do certain things, and I was born to run businesses and operate. I'm just something I just found natural, but it's something I was doing, and I didn't realize why I was doing it. But again, it's, people buy from you, people buy from your store, or buy from, when I was renting leasing apartments, people bought from my leasing consultants because they liked that person. They connected with the leasing consultant, or they connected with you on some level. They liked you. So that's why it wasn't necessarily your product, because again, let's back it all the way up. Hollywood Video, Braveheart is Braveheart.
Yeah.
Whether you went to Hollywood Video or Blockbuster or Movies to Go or whoever else, Family Video or whatever, pick your video store, it's the same product.
Yeah.
So why did they choose us versus the guy? We literally built our stores right across the street from each other. Well, they went there because of the people. At the end of the day, but I didn't realize I was doing it until later on when I took over 13 stores in Tampa, Florida. And at the time, they were in the top 10 least profitable districts in the company. And in 9 months, we became the most profitable district in the company. And this is when we had about 2,000 stores at that time. And everyone asks, well, how did you do it? And, because you had no control over the product, no control over the price, and no control over advertising. The example I like to give a lot is like, if I hired you to run a Lowe's or a Home Depot, for example, I said, okay, here you go. You're going to take over this Lowe's, and it's the worst Lowe's in the entire country, but you have to figure out how to turn it around. And you may have never even worked for Lowe's, but I think many of you can know, even though you never worked for them, that you have no control of the product. You can't go in there and say, well, I want to have, Matco tools, or I want to sell Craftsman tools instead of Matco tools, or whatever, or Kobe or whatever they have, right? You can't just go in there and change out the product line. You have no control over the price. As a store manager, you just can't go in there and all of a sudden have a sale on ceiling fans this weekend. And you have no control over advertising. Again, it's a national campaign, right? It's however many radio commercials or TV commercials Lowe's is running, that's what you get. So, but yet somehow you're supposed to improve sales in the store. The only thing that you have total control over is the people. 100%. You have control over who you hire. You have control over their attitude and their training and their customer service, et cetera. So I always said, going back to, again, the hiring process was, I always said, I hire the person. And then I can teach you, how to push the buttons and turn the knobs, but I can't teach you how to just genuinely be nice and genuinely like people and be likable. That's either you have that or you don't. There's some people, unfortunately, that, aren't people, and they know that. And some people don't and have to figure it out. But, those are great support people and work in an office or cubicle somewhere or do something from home and support or something like that. But they're not the front facing, interaction with customers all day long person.
Yeah. I think that you hit it on the head. Either they know it or they don't.